Guys, we're back for day 2. This time we're going to be learning surface areas and volumes of spheres. Spheres being like a ball, okay? So a sphere is the set of all points in a space equidistant, meaning equal distance, okay, from a given point called the center. And then the surface area of a sphere, okay, is 4 pi r squared, where r is the radius, pi is 3.14, and if we're not given radius and we're given diameter, again, this is the formula to find radius. You take the diameter and you divide by 2. Okay, when it comes to the volume of a sphere, we are going to have the formula V equals 4 divided by 3, 4/3, pi times r cubed this time, okay? Now, we're going to be using those formulas in just a second. Let's introduce the hemisphere. So a hemisphere is half of a sphere. So we basically cut it in half. That's what it means. Okay, so we're given 2 more formulas. So this is the formula for hemisphere, finding the surface area, and the volume of a hemisphere is use this. Basically, we took our formulas from up here and we divided it by 2. So the 4 became a 2 in each of them. Okay, now we're going to get into our together problems. Okay, there are 3 questions for this segment, okay? So the first one, we're given a volleyball, okay? So we're given the diameter. It's 8 inches. They want us to find the surface area and then find the volume, okay? So since we're given the diameter, we have to convert to radius for this formula. So r equals d divided by 2. So we take our diameter, which is 8, divide it by 2. So our radius is 4. Okay, that's all we need. We know that pi is 3.14, so now we're just going to plug it in. The surface area is equal to 4 times 3.14, which is pi. And then our r is 4, and it says to square it. So again, 4. We'll put it in parentheses, times 3.14. And then 4 squared, 4 times 4, is 16. Now when I plug it all into the calculator, I should get 200.96. And again, if you just put it like this with all the parentheses into the calculator, you should be fine. And this was inches. We're talking about volume. Or no, actually we're talking about surface area, so this is going to be squared. So the surface area is 200.96 inches squared. Now for volume. We're again going to use the radius from over here. Okay, we know that r is 4. So we have v equals 4/3. I'll put that in parentheses. We're going to do that first. Pi is 3.14. Okay, r is 4. This time we're going to cube it because we're dealing with volume. So I do 4/3 times 3.14, and then 4 cubed is 64, which is 4 times 4 times 4. Multiply this in the calculator and you should get 267.95. 267.95 inches, and it's cubed. Okay, that's the first one. Second one, so if they actually give us the radius, it saves us a step. So we're just going to plug that in right away. So we have 4 times pi, which is 3.14. This time we were talking about a basketball, being the radius is 7 inches. So our radius was 7. Okay, and that's squared. So we have 4 times 3.14. 7 squared is 7 times 7, which is 49. Now I multiply all of that together, and you should get 615.44. And that's inches, and we're dealing with surface area, so it's squared. Okay, these are the problems you're copying down on your together questions on your worksheet. Okay, the next one, we're given the radius, we just plug it in. So we have 4/3 times pi, which is 3.14. The radius we were told was 7, and this time we're going to cube it. 4/3 in parentheses times 3.14 times 7 cubed. So 7 times 7 times 7 is 343. Okay, when I multiply all of these in my calculator, I get 1,436.03, and that's inches cubed because I'm dealing with volume. Okay? Remember, you can pause this video at any time to copy the work down to save you some time, okay? And let's go to the last one. So we're dealing with the hemisphere, so half of a sphere. So if we basically had a volleyball or a basketball and we cut it exactly in half, that half is a hemisphere. We're given the radius is 5 centimeters, so we're just going to plug it in. So we have 2 times pi, which is 3.14. Put everything in parentheses. Our radius is 5, so I plug that in, squared. So I have 2 times 3.14, 5 squared, 5 times 5, 25. Once I multiply all of that together, I should get 157, and that's centimeters. We're talking about surface area, so squared. Okay? One last one, finding the volume of the hemisphere. So again, the radius is 5, so I'm just going to plug that in. So 2/3 times pi, which is 3.14, times our radius, which is 5, cubed. Okay, so we have 2/3 times the 3.14. 5 times 5 times 5 would be 125. Okay, so the volume, I multiply all these together. 2/3 times 3.14 times 125 gives me 261.67. And we're talking about centimeters and cubes since we're dealing with volume. Okay? Just like that. So remember, you can watch this video as many times as you need to. You can send me questions via email. And remember, just don't stress out, okay? You guys got this. All right.